Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today our show is Eldercare Concierge. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Ask. Today our show is Eldercare Concierge, and we have the president and founder herself, Phyllis Slater. Hi, Phyllis.
Hi, how are you doing, Marsha?
Fine, fine. Now, Phyllis, I want to actually thank you for coming back again. It's been a while.
Oh, it's great to be back.
Okay, thank you. Now, Phyllis, you know what? This is our new year, a new season, and a lot of people may not be familiar with a Eldercare Concierge is and does. So I want you to fill us in on a little bit about yourself and what is an Eldercare Concierge.
For about 25 years, I've been an administrative secretary for corporate, and I finally decided I didn't like being behind the desk. I had decided that my organizational skills were great, and that instead I'd rather use them with the seniors. I found a lot of them are having problems with moving, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to be out there and do that? Only what happens is that I get into situations like the supermarket and the adult children start talking, and they have their own issues. So I became a concierge service, which means anything anybody says about aging, they can talk to me. I will direct them. I will listen. I will decide what in the world we really need from the adult children to help their parents, and if necessary, direct them to organizations that also are very capable of helping them.
Okay. So in actuality, a concierge is the key person to assist the aging parent as well as get the clarity from the children, adult children, on what the aging parent needs?
Well, again, a lot has a different focus based on who I'm talking to. The adult children have the concerns of the pressure and the concern about their parent. Many times they're caught between their own children and their parent and their own time frame. Mm-hmm. If they work, they can't be running all around trying to make sure the mom's taking the medication, asking, do you want to stay at home to live? Do you want to downsize? Is the home too big now? Do you want to go into an independent living or assisted living? Mm. A lot of times they have no idea where to start. And they are just so overwhelmed that sometimes they need somebody to bounce those things off of.
Okay. Now, I wonder, as far as history is concerned, quite some time ago, children were known to take care of their parents. Before assisted living came about, before adult programs for the aging came about. What is your take on the fact that now that we have all these homes for the elderly and assistant programs, what is your take on young adult parents just wanting to put their parents in a home of some sort to actually take care of the parents where they're not responsible?
Well, it's a good question. The problem being, sure, it's always great that they can go and move in with their adult children. Reality is that when they are overwhelmed, the adult children, with taking care of their own families, they don't have the time to really devote to their parent. Mm-hmm. They don't give the attention the parent deserves. If the parent is living, the senior is living with them, their social life is very limited, and that causes depression. They've got nobody of their age, no peers to interact with.
Mm-hmm. So what about if a parent is a young parent taking care of a disabled child? To me, in the limelight of a parent taking care of a disabled child is the same or similar ruling as if you were the parent taking care of an elderly parent.
Well, there's a lot of organizations and a lot of daycares for the physically challenged that they can send them to during the day for the social life, for the interaction mm-hmm. while they're working. I think there's more opportunities to give them a social and more mind stimulating environment than they do their parent.
Okay, okay. So, look, that's a double-edged sword question I asked, because I feel as though for the mere fact that if I'll say early 1900s or so, parents who had disabled children, you had to tough it out, do what you had to do, take care of your child. Parents who became aging and the children were adults, they maintained the parent in the home, and it seemed like they always had a big house where grandma was in her room and, you know, the kids had their room, so it was more unity. Now it seems like it has more openings for other opportunities. Oh, well, you know, we don't have to get such a big house. Mom's going into a nursing home, you know, but if the parent is frail and a lot of medical attention is needed, I can understand more so some of the assisted living programs better than I can if their parents are just aging right along with the rest of the family members.
Now, one thing I have to clarify, Marcia, is that you jumped from independent to nursing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kids don't know there's that in between. You know, there's the retirement, which is still independent, there's the assisted living, and there's even the Alzheimer's,
okay,
which are specific to that. There are ethnic groups that still take care of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they would not have it any other way, and that is just beautiful. And there's another problem that when you were talking about independent living, assisted living, Alzheimer's, they're all private pay.
Okay.
And if you're talking about whether or not to have the money, that's a totally different issue. There are in-home care services that are coming out now. And, you know, it's very difficult because if you're not home, then you can get the in-home care. If mom is living by herself, then it's really nice if you have the shopping, the cooking, the transportation to the doctor, cleaning the house, all done by somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I tell you, Phyllis, what we're going to do is take a break, and we'll be right back with some more good information about Eldercare Concierge. We'll be right back.
Why do I call it a funny bone?
Why can't penguins fly? Like a sea safety.
Can we go to the moon on vacation?
If you think it's tough answering these questions, imagine the ones you'll get if your child is diagnosed with cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
And welcome back to the show. For those of you who are just not joining us, we have Phyllis Slater, the president and founder of Eldercare Concierge. Now, those of you who do not have a clue what a concierge does, Phyllis is going to fill us in on that and let you know that, hey, there are people in services that are beyond your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, but are out there for you. So, Phyllis, now, I had to clear that up because the word concierge, I normally hear it somewhere like in a hotel or something like that when they say, welcome to blah, blah, blah. Tell us exactly, for a concierge, in your perspective, what would you do and who calls you?
Well, it turns out that most of the time it's the adult child. The senior, because of their generation, does not want to spend money paying for me to do things. So they turn around and they ask the children, will you help me? Well, what happens is the children are overwhelmed. They call, and unfortunately, they end up yelling at the parent. They forget that mom and dad want to stay independent. So they take over, and they say, you can't keep this, you can't keep that, or they box everything up, leave them on the other end, and say, fend for yourself. So they call me up, and they say, I don't have the faintest idea where to go, what to do. Am I keeping mom at home? Is she moving? We don't know when to start packing. Mom doesn't want me to pay for you. So usually what I'll do is online consulting. Now, when it gets to the point that I've already told the kids the basics, how to do it themselves, and they say, you know, this just isn't working out. Mom's yelling at me and saying this is what to keep, and I'm saying I don't have time for this, so I'm just either going to get rid of everything or just pack everything. So then it's the time for me to come in. Only I find that the parent, the adult parent or aging parent, whichever way feels more comfortable to them, really can't handle more than 4 hours at a time. Okay. It's just too much. So I look and I block this into 4-hour sections for them.
Okay. Now, if a aging parent is staying in a home, the home is fully furnished, and they want to continue to stay in the home, are there things that should be removed or boxed or put away or given away or sold so that they would have more space or be able to get around better, or is it according to the disability?
Has to do a lot with their lifestyle. Now, maybe in a lot of cases, the adult children are now taking care of all the entertaining. Maybe they don't have a lot of friends anymore. They don't need all the dressy entertainment things that they used to keep. Maybe they want to box it up so when something happens to them, they already have listed, well, I'm going to give this to this person or that person. You don't want to give that away. They don't want to give it away. You box it up, you plan that it's stored, that's out of the way. Leave just the basics, the clothes that they've used in the past year, and either decide, do they emotionally have an attachment? And if so, again, plan on storing. If there's no attachment, the family is coming in, they've taken everything they need, and it's just a matter of downsizing. What is reality? What do you really need to keep? If you don't, get rid of it. Either donate it or trash it.
Well, Phyllis, how do you feel that you go into a home, a stranger's home, and the adult child called you and said, hey, I need you to come over here and see my mom and talk to her about getting rid of these things because she's not going to be using this anymore. We don't need these things anymore. How do you win over the attention and warm the parent up that this total stranger that they don't know is coming to their home to talk to them about their needs?
You know, each person is individual, and they have to be taken as individuals. There's no book that you follow. Every personality is different, and in a lot of cases, they've already become very overwhelmed. And if we sit down and we just talk and we start with, can you reach the things in the kitchen? Are they up too high for you? Can you find the clothes that you want to wear, or are you going into the closet? Let's take a look at the closet. Okay. Are there things in here that you don't like wearing anymore, but they sit there? And we go through that process.
Okay. Now, do you work alone, or do you work with other seniors when you go through this?
Well, I work with the individual senior because it's their property. It's their thing. Sometimes I'll end up with a story about a purse that isn't even any good anymore, that they remember how much it cost, where they bought it, and it's not, you can't ask them to give those things up. But you don't need them in a closet where they're staring at them all the time. If they're put away, I like clear plastic containers so they can see right through. Nobody's removed anything from them. They can take it any time they want. But in most cases, it's just that they know they have it.
Okay. Now, as a concierge, can you also, as you help them sort through things that they want and don't want, is the adult child present, or does he or she come towards the end to see what the progress was for what the 4 block hours consist of?
I would like them to come at the beginning. The reason being is, let's say Mom didn't want to spend a lot of money on me, that they can learn in the 4 hours what they need to do to take over.
Okay, okay. Okay, now what about the transitional part? You know, and I know I'm going back again, but we spoke about it earlier, the transitional part about going to assisted living or a adult daycare program for Alzheimer's and things like that. What is your take on that? I mean, do you refer the adult child to these organizations and then have them do the background search to find out this one is has the qualities that their parents may be looking for?
The places that I like the best are your senior centers, because they have fantastic services, and they are more personal. They are more one-on-one. And if they can't take care of it, they will recommend them to Area Agency on Aging. There's a National Caregiver Association, and they would be the best ones to be able to focus from that. I do not make any money from these people, and I don't want to. These are things that I think are very personalized, and it's amazing. People do not utilize their senior center as much as they should.
Okay, so you highly recommend senior centers?
I am a big advocate, but not all are good.
Okay, okay, okay. So if you recommend a senior center, what should they look for?
People they can talk to.
Okay.
The services that they offer. Do they offer travel? A lot of the seniors love casinos.
Okay.
They would love daycare casino trips.
All right, all right. And, you know, and I do believe that more activity level this for seniors is just as good as if it was a church function, if it was a family gathering. Anything that keeps the mind sharp is good, and keep anyone's spirit going or somebody laughing, things like that. Exercise programs. What's your take on senior exercise? Is there anything in particular that seniors should be getting into? I mean, that's one of our next phases, is to assist in the exercise program. So what do you think about seniors?
A lot of the senior centers have the exercise programs.
Okay.
That's why I say senior centers, because people think senior is being old and frail. And it's not. They've got the games, they've got the exercise, they have the trips. They really take care of a lot of stimulating things. I volunteer once a month for the gift shop for the Waterford Senior Center, and I enjoy doing that. My husband and I get together and we do Focus Hope. But there's a lot of people out there that are still independent. They want to feel independent. They don't want to feel that they're aging. But I like the senior center because it's private. Churches, they tend to gossip.
Okay, okay. Well, I know one thing, the saying, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, is not just for the young folks, it's also just across the board, because to me, physically you are aging, the body is doing its thing, but the brain is probably still pretty sharp a lot of times. So with the senior programs, a lot of people are very active. Is there a certain season that seniors feel like is better for them, or are these activities pretty much all year round?
The activities are all year round. But naturally, as the weather gets bad, they don't want to have to get out. Now, one of the advantages is that, like with Waterford, they have a fantastic transportation program. Now, I'm losing my eyesight, and I can't drive anymore. I certainly feel independent. And I utilize the transportation for the senior center to get where I need to go.
Well, Phyllis, I must admit you're giving us some very supportive information for the young adults as well as the seniors. So on that note, we're going to take another break and we'll be right back.
My nerves stand on end. My palms sweat. And everything's a blur. The rush is so intense. All I want to do is get even higher.
Andrea Moretti is under the influence of her local teen center volunteer. Each month, she helps Andrea stay on top of the world and off drugs. Be a coach, a mentor, a volunteer, because you have something to offer.
Studies show babies who are breastfed are less likely to develop ear infections, respiratory illnesses, and diarrhea. Babies were born to be breastfed.
And welcome back to the last half of our show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're anything like me, you are curious about programs and services that are out there that can take care of your elderly loved ones, your disabled child or parent, and including yourself, caregivers, who find that you sometimes get overwhelmed with services and things that you need to do for your entire family as well as for yourself. So today, like I said, we had Phyllis Slater here, Eldercare Concierge, to give us some insight on when you're transitioning your parents from their home to a assisted living program or independent living program or any type of services, or basically if they want to stay in their home and you want to keep them in their home, what you can do and what services are available out there. So in the closing, I'm going to let Phyllis give us some more insight on one of the particular services that I was concerned about, called reverse mortgage. So Phyllis, tell our audience, what is reverse mortgage? And I know it has something to do if the parent wants to continue to stay in their home and not go away into a facility. What is the reverse mortgage program about?
Well, as a concierge service, I talk to the adult children in a lot of different areas in my consulting. However, the reverse mortgage is something that is very dear to my heart. I really listen to some of the seniors, and they need care so badly. They want to stay at home. They just can't afford it. They think their next alternative is Medicare, or Medicaid, I should say.
Okay.
That's the final choice. I say, don't worry about the house, leaving it for the children. It's there to take care of them, for their well-being. Reverse mortgages, really, to know more, you go to a specialist. But the key thing to remember, you take the equity in the home, use it for yourself, don't have to make any payments until that house is sold.
Okay.
Live there, they can't push you out, use it for your care, and just relax and enjoy being there. Worst comes to worst, and should you ever run out of equity, then think about Medicaid.
Okay, okay. But can you have both at the same time?
No.
Okay, okay. So you get one or the other. So actuality, an aging parent who wants to stay home should consider reverse mortgage so that the children will say, we need to sell mom's home in order to put her in this facility. They want us to have all the equity out of the home.
It's usually the best thing. Go to the specialist. Not every situation is exactly the same. Correct. Different companies have different speculations. Some have more interest rates. Mm-hmm. You have to like and feel comfortable with any service that you go into.
Okay, okay. Well, that's just something to consider, and I know that's a good one in reference to you trying to make sure that they stay home, or that if they do have to go into a program, that the cost is pretty much covered.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. And as yourself, the Eldercare Concierge, you're going into homes and helping them break down the home to mold it more effectively for them to be able to get around and feel relaxed in that home and not just easily get depressed by looking at old pictures or, like you said, purses and things that remind them of driving. What is your take on transportation?
I tend to use the senior center bus.
Okay.
If you don't have regular transportation, I just call them. They have been the blessing for me.
Okay, okay. So majority of the senior centers have transportation.
They have some type of transportation. Most of them are donation fees. Mm-hmm. And they really, even to get you to the doctor, the worst part is that, the downside is that they usually are only going to take you within your own city.
Okay, okay.
So there are connector buses for SMART, but that's that's much trickier because you've got to plan ahead of time. You have to be from one location, they drop you off, to be there for the next bus to pick you up. If you're not there in time, they take off without you.
Okay. But you should be pretty much organized if you're going to be on the bus.
Yes.
Okay, well, hey, I as a person would feel as though if I got somewhere to go and don't want to wait on the children, I get on the bus. Okay, okay. Well, Phyllis, you know, I want to acknowledge to our viewers that we didn't just have you here to talk about what the services are, but you have a book. Well, matter of fact, this is the first book out of 3, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, you know, when you have someone who has taken the time out to get into a service like this, that means that person is very sincere about what it is what it means to age, and you don't want that dependency on your family members so much. So, Phyllis, I want to, congratulate you on this book. And what I like about this book most of all is the big print. Okay, okay. So, I mean, such nice print that you can read it from afar. So you can see those titles from afar, okay? And so this was book number 1, Calming the Chaos, Aging is Just a Word. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you have another one, and all of them are under the Calming the Chaos, right?
All under Calming the Chaos.
The Baby Boomer Woman Living with Physical Challenges. Now, that's got to be a unique book. Okay, and the most recent one is When Adult Children Turn Caregivers.
Definitely.
Okay, okay. Somebody needs to read that book. Okay, okay. I mean, I understand we're busy in life. We have a lot of things going on, but you need to take time out when you see that there's something going on within your parents that you say, now I better try to check into this before it gets too far gone. Would you suggest to the adult parent, don't wait till the critical moment to start making preparations for their aging parent?
God, I'm so glad you said that. I am an advocate of starting way ahead of time because there's nothing worse than the pressure of having to make that fast move.
Okay.
If you do it right, then the organizing part is really the starting point for the moving.
Okay.
So if they do that right, when it comes time for moving, the only thing they move is what they need, and it saves them a lot of money with the moving. When they get to the other end, the primary thing is that you make the beds, you put the dishes up, and you get all the medications in the bathroom, and the rest can be taken care of later.
Okay, okay. Okay, so the transition should always be so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, and that's what we want. We want to make our transitions much more calming than normal. And I had an article from a lady that said something about when she moved her mom, how difficult that was to tear herself from, or to have to say to her mom, it's time for you to go into a nursing facility. And I'm like, how do you tell your parents it's time? But the transition in the end for her and her mother was excellent. You know, just in the beginning it was so bumpy, but in the end they're doing much better now, and the mother has become more vibrant within her own core group of dealing with other seniors. And I think that's an added plus, but I'm sure it has to be something to deal with emotionally when you first encounter such a situation.
Well, can I only say one thing, that I want to remind everybody that the nursing home is the last resort.
Okay.
That there are options in between, and the nursing home is the last resort because the care there is not the quality. There are some very good ones, but very minimal.
All right. Well, Phyllis, I want to thank you for coming to see us again, and please come back and join us. Don't stay away too long.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
well,
good.
ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am. I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. But I want to remind you, you can ask Phyllis any questions you like by checking her out on the Just Ask website. So she's at the Just Ask Talk Show website. Please log on, catch the address at the bottom of the screen, and you can just click on to Phyllis's name and email her a question if you have one. So you know who I am. I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask, and what do I always say? Don't be afraid that, nope, let me back up. If you know someone with a disability, or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.